pleasure then. Entertain and educate all at the same time. What I'm going to do this evening is I'm going to just start off explaining a little bit about why using your voice and breath is so important when you're speaking. And then we'll probably get you all up on your feet to do a little bit of exercise. Because if I've got to stand here, you lot can stand up there. And then we'll finish it all off with a nice roundup and give you some great tips and ideas on how you can get your voice to work better for you. And this isn't just for Toastmasters. Your voice is the most powerful thing you own. Regardless of how you think it sounds, when you speak, someone's either going to listen to you, they're going to ignore you, they may hit you, but there's going to be a reaction of some sort. So if you can learn to use your voice to your best advantage, then you're going to win wherever you go. So let's start with the basics. Breathing. How many of you get up here to do your speech, and you get here, you take a breath, and then you forget to let it out? How many of you don't stand? Yeah. And breathe. It's a fundamental. You can't talk unless the voice comes out on an outward breath. That's why we have vocal cords. So that the breath can pass over the vocal cords and create the sound that you want to make. The breath will also decide how far your voice goes. So you can take a large breath and take your voice right to the back and to the sides of a room without hurting your throat. Or you can take a very soft breath and it will still travel, but it has a more intimate feel to it. So your breathing is really important, and we're going to look at how you should be breathing in a little while. The other thing about breath, you think of the language, the English language, we have vowels, we have our A, E, I, O, U's. And we have ways that people like to listen. I hate to bring up Hitler, but I always do. I hate to do it, I'm sorry. I'm going to apologise now. But Hitler, the one thing he was good at, he would whip an audience into action. It didn't matter what he said. He would get them going and he would tell you what you needed to know. He'd wind you all up, he'd push you off, and we had war. Nobody knew why, but his voice was like a drum. It was almost like a musical beat. Very staccato. And we all were going, yes, okay, we're hypnotised into following whatever he says. If you listen or read any of his speeches, he talked nonsense. Nobody cared. They just went for the ride. And how many of us have read our children to sleep? And we use those lovely, long vowels in a nice, singy, songy voice in the hope that they will drift off to sleep, because that's what we want them to do. So you've got the long vowels. You can't do that without a good breath. And if you start doing those really, really sharp noises and don't use your breath, you'll have lost your voice halfway through your speech. Does that make sense to you all?
Yes.
The fact that your breath is what's important. That's what makes a speech. That's what helps you vary the pace. And it's the breath and the voice that will make people do what you want them to do. You're stood up here and you want something from your audience. You want to say something that you want people to hear. And if they can't hear you because you haven't actually put your voice out there, and you're just sort of stood here thinking, I'm just going to quickly get through it and not worry about who's hearing it, well, you're wasting your time. You want people to hear it. People want to hear it. And it's all to do with the breath. It's easy. So everybody on their feet. Oh, yeah. This can be done from where you are, honey. You're not getting away with it. Right. Just breathe naturally. Just breathe as if you were. Okay. Where's your breath going? Is it going up to here? Or is it going lower to here? Okay. You need to pull that air in. So put your hand, it's about your tummy here. It's a diaphragm. It's a muscle called the diaphragm, and it works a bit like an umbrella. So when you breathe in, and this is very hard for me to do and explain at the same time, as you breathe in, your hand should move out because you're pulling the air right in so that that diaphragm goes out. Your shoulders should stay still. Don't want any... How does that feel? You're breathing from the diaphragm. Yes? Okay. What we're going to do is I'm going to count to 3. And on that 3 count, you're going to breathe in to the count of 3. So you've got to control that breath. You can't go, right, I've got it, 2, 3. You've got to breathe it in, 2, 3. All right? And then you're going to hold it for my count of 3. And then we're going to gently breathe out to the count of 3. And you are going to control that breath. Okay, so I'm going to do it in for 3, hold for 3, out for 3. So make sure the diaphragm's working because that's where it's coming from. So are we ready? And breathe. In, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, out, 2, 3. Now how did that feel? Okay, yeah? What number do you want to go up to? Now some of you, I've noticed, not mentioning names, bit stiff up here, bit tight. Sort of pulling it in. It's got to be a natural breath in, okay? Nice breath in, and the more you control that muscle, the more air you can hold. It's like any other muscle. You have to keep practicing. So this time we're going to breathe in for 3, hold for 3, and you're going to count out for 3. Because when you count out, that breath's going to come out faster than you think. Okay, so breathe. In, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Lovely. Now let's pretend we're not at a funeral. And let's make that, now imagine your voice is a ball. As it comes out, it's a ball, right? You're playing tennis with it, and it's going to hit this wall. That's what you have to do, because if you don't, dire consequences will happen. Not going down the hit the road again. Dire consequences will happen. So when you breathe in and then you hold it. When you talk out, push that voice to this wall. Imagine your job is to knock that wall down with that voice. So breathe in, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3.
Yes! Did you feel the difference? Yes. You see, you don't have to force the voice, you manipulate it. It's not that we're all just loud. Yes, I know I am loud. No, you can sit down again now because I've just noticed the light. Yeah. It's not that you have to shout or be loud. You use that breath and you put the breath and the voice where you want it to be. So your homework is to just keep practicing. Practice that holding the breath. Practice being able to say the days of the week on one breath. The months of the year on one breath. It can be done twice actually. It's all about practicing with that muscle. So in conclusion, everybody, I hope that's explained a little bit about why it's so important to practice your breathing, to relax. Just seen the red light, I'm not relaxed anymore. And relaxing, because if you tighten up your vocal cords, the air can't get out. If you tighten up here, the air gets all trapped. If you stand like this, there's nowhere to go. So make sure when you come up, you stand comfortable, face your audience, and take your breath before you start. Thank you.